Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am Alex, and it is so good to have you here today. You're listening to Pod Studio, the place where we talk about life, language, and everything in between in a way that is easy to follow.
And I am Emma. Hi, Alex, and hi to all our listeners joining us today. I am really excited about today's topic because it is something we all do every single day, but we don't always think about it.
That is so true, Emma. Today, we're talking about how our daily choices shape our future. It sounds like a big, heavy topic, doesn't it? Like something from a philosophy book. But really, it is about the small things. What we eat, when we wake up, how we spend our free time.
Exactly. It's not just about the big moments, like choosing a job or moving to a new city. It's about the little things we do on a Tuesday morning. Those small steps eventually lead us to a big destination.
We want this episode to be a relaxed space for you to practice your English. So if you are driving, or maybe doing the dishes, or just sitting with a cup of coffee, just relax and listen. You don't need to stress about every single word.
Right. We will speak clearly, and if we use a word that's a bit special, we'll talk about it. It's all about learning naturally. So, Alex, when you think about daily choices, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Honestly, it's my alarm clock. Every morning I have a choice. I can get up when it rings, or I can hit the snooze button. You know the snooze button, right? That little button on your phone that gives you 10 more minutes of sleep.
Oh, I know it very well. I call it my best friend and my worst enemy.
That is a great way to put it. When I hit snooze, I feel good for 10 minutes, but then I'm in a rush. I don't have time for a good breakfast. I feel stressed. That one small choice, 10 minutes of sleep versus getting up, changes my whole morning. And if my morning is stressful, my whole day usually feels stressful too.
That is a perfect example of a daily choice. It's a habit. A habit is something you do again and again without thinking. And these habits are the building blocks of our lives. If you have a habit of rushing, you become a stressed person. If you have a habit of waking up early, maybe you become a more calm person.
I like that word, building blocks, like the plastic bricks children use to build a house. One brick doesn't look like much, but if you put many together, you have a whole building. Our choices are the bricks.
That's a lovely image. I was thinking about my own choices lately, especially regarding my health. I used to buy a chocolate bar every time I went to the grocery store. It was just a small choice, only €1, only 5 minutes to eat.
We all love chocolate, Emma. There's no shame in that.
True, but I realized that after a year, that small choice meant I had eaten hundreds of chocolate bars. My energy was low. I felt tired all the time. So I decided to change that small choice. Now I choose an apple. It's a tiny change, but now, a few months later, I feel much more energetic.
It's interesting how we don't see the result of the choice immediately. If you eat one apple, you don't suddenly become a super healthy athlete the next day. And if you eat one chocolate bar, you don't get sick the next day. The result is hidden in the future.
Yes, and that is why it's so difficult. We humans like instant gratification. That's a bit of a long phrase, but it just means we want to feel good right now. We don't want to wait for the result.
Instant gratification. So like when I buy a video game instead of saving that money for a holiday next year. I want the fun now, not the holiday in 12 months.
Exactly. The now version of Alex is happy, but the future version of Alex might be sad because he doesn't have enough money for the beach.
I think about this a lot with language learning too. Many of our listeners are trying to improve their English. That is a choice they make every day, choosing to listen to Pod Studio for 20 minutes instead of watching a video in their own language.
That is such a big one. Learning a language is never about one big day of study. You can't study for 24 hours on a Saturday and expect to speak perfectly on Sunday. It's about the consistency.
Consistency. That means doing the same thing regularly, like a steady heartbeat.
Yes, exactly. If you are consistent, you do a little bit every day. It's better to study for 10 minutes every day than for 2 hours once a month. Those 10 minutes are the daily choices that shape your future as a fluent speaker.
I sometimes struggle with that. I start things with a lot of energy. I say, I'm going to exercise for 1 hour every day. I do it for 3 days, and then I stop. I think I try to make my choices too big.
I do the same thing. We call that burning out. It's like a candle that burns very brightly but disappears very quickly. It's much better to make a choice so small that it's impossible to say no.
Give me an example of a small choice like that.
Okay, let's say you want to read more books. Instead of saying, I will read 50 pages tonight, just say, I will read 1 page. Anyone can read 1 page. Usually, once you start, you read more, but the choice is just 1 page.
That is very smart. It takes away the pressure. You know, I read a story once about a man who wanted to get fit. He lived near a gym. Every day for the first month, he drove to the gym, walked inside, stayed for 5 minutes, and then left.
Wait, he didn't exercise? He just stayed for 5 minutes?
Right. People thought he was crazy, but he said he was mastering the art of showing up. He was making the choice to go there a habit. Once the habit of going was strong, then he started to exercise.
Showing up. I love that expression. It means just being there. In life, half of the battle is just showing up. If you show up to your English practice or show up to the gym with a positive attitude, you are already winning.
It really changes how you look at yourself. If I show up to the gym every day, even for 5 minutes, I start to think I'm the kind of person who goes to the gym. I change my identity.
And our identity is just a collection of our choices.
That's deep, Emma, but you're right. If I choose to be kind to a stranger today and I choose to help a friend tomorrow, I become a kind person. It's not a title I was born with. It's a result of what I did on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Let's talk about the digital world for a second. We spend so much time on our phones, scrolling through social media. That's a choice we make 100 times a day.
Oh, don't remind me. I check my phone for a second and suddenly 30 minutes have passed. It feels like a time thief.
A time thief. That's a great way to describe it. Those 30 minutes could have been a walk or a conversation with a family member or even just resting. When we choose to scroll, we're choosing to give our attention to strangers on the internet instead of our own lives.
And where does that lead us in the future? If I spend 2 hours a day on social media, that's 14 hours a week. In a year, that's hundreds of hours. I could have learned a new skill in that time. I could have learned how to cook amazing food or how to play the guitar.
It's scary when you do the math, isn't it? But we shouldn't feel guilty. Life is hard, and sometimes we just want to relax. The point isn't to be a robot who is productive every second. The point is to be mindful.
Mindful. We hear that word a lot lately. To me, it means being awake to what you're doing. Instead of just doing things automatically, you stop and think, is this what I want to be doing right now?
Exactly. It's like being the captain of your own ship. If the captain is asleep, the ship just goes wherever the wind blows. But if the captain is mindful, he can turn the wheel. Even a small turn of the wheel changes where the ship will be in 3 days.
I like that. So even if I have made bad choices in the past, I can turn the wheel today. My future isn't fixed. It hasn't been written yet.
Not at all. That's the beauty of life. Every morning is a fresh start. You have a new set of choices. You can choose to be different today.
I think some people feel stuck, though. They feel like their life is the way it is because of luck or because of other people. They don't feel like they have a choice.
That is a very real feeling, and it's true that we can't control everything. We can't control the weather or the economy or what other people think of us, but we can control our reaction.
Ah, so the reaction is the choice.
Right. If it rains on your holiday, you can't change the rain, but you can choose to be angry and stay in the hotel, or you can choose to buy an umbrella and explore the city anyway. One choice leads to a bad memory, the other leads to an adventure.
I had a situation like that last week. I was at the cafe and someone spilled coffee on my bag. My first thought was to get angry. I wanted to say something mean, but I stopped. I chose to breathe and say, "It's okay, it's just a bag."
And how did you feel after that?
I felt proud of myself, and the other person was so thankful that I wasn't angry. We actually ended up having a nice chat. If I had chosen anger, I would have been stressed for the rest of the afternoon.
That is a perfect example of shaping your future. In that moment, you shaped a future where you were calm and had a nice conversation, instead of a future where you were shouting and had a headache.
It's funny how these small things snowball.
Snowball? Like making a snowman.
Exactly. When you roll a small ball of snow down a hill, it picks up more snow and gets bigger and bigger and faster and faster. A small choice like being kind can snowball into a great day. A bad choice like getting into an argument can snowball into a terrible week.
I love that. It's the snowball effect. I see this in my work too. If I choose to organize my desk for just 5 minutes before I leave the office, when I arrive the next morning, I feel ready to work. But if I leave it a mess, I start the next day feeling confused and behind.
It's like your past self is doing a favor for your future self.
Yes, I love thinking about it that way. What can I do now that my future self will thank me for? Maybe it's drinking a glass of water, or putting some money in a savings account, or even just going to bed early.
My future self is usually very happy when my past self decides to go to bed before midnight. The morning Alex is a much nicer person when he has had 8 hours of sleep.
We often talk about investing. Usually, people think about money when they hear that word, investing in the stock market or buying a house. But we also invest our time and energy.
So choosing to learn English is an investment?
A huge investment. You are spending your time now so that in the future you have more opportunities. Maybe you can get a better job, or travel to more countries, or make friends from all over the world. The choice you make today to listen to this podcast is an investment in your future.
That makes me feel very important, but it's true. It's not just about the words, it's about the confidence.
Exactly. And confidence comes from making choices and keeping promises to yourself. If I tell myself, I will go for a walk today, and I do it, I trust myself more. If I break that promise every day, I lose confidence.
That is a very good point. We often worry about what other people think of us, but what we think of ourselves is much more important. Every time we make a good choice, one that aligns with our goals, we build self-respect.
Aligns with. That is a nice phrase. It means to match or to be in a straight line with something. So if my goal is to be a healthy person, eating a salad aligns with that goal. Eating a giant pizza, maybe not so much.
Although sometimes a pizza is good for the soul, Emma. We shouldn't be too hard on ourselves.
Oh, I agree, 100%. If we try to be perfect, we will fail, and then we will feel like giving up. It's about the big picture.
The big picture. So the overall view of our lives, not just one single moment.
Right. If you make good choices 80% of the time, the other 20% doesn't matter that much. You can have the pizza. You can hit the snooze button sometimes. Just don't let it become your default.
Default. That means the automatic setting, right? Like on a computer.
Yes, if your default setting is healthy and active, one day on the sofa won't hurt you. But if your default setting is lazy, then one day at the gym won't save you.
It really comes down to what we do most of the time. I think about my grandfather. He lived to be 95 years old. He wasn't a marathon runner, and he didn't have a special diet, but he walked to the shop every day. He talked to his neighbors every day. He read the newspaper every day.
Those are simple, daily choices.
Exactly. He wasn't trying to be a hero. He just had a very good routine. A routine is a sequence of actions that you follow regularly. His routine kept his body moving and his mind sharp for almost a century.
Routine is the secret weapon of success. Most successful people, whether they're athletes or artists or business people, have a very strict routine. They don't wait to feel motivated. They just follow their choices.
That is an important distinction, motivation versus discipline. Motivation is a feeling. Sometimes I feel motivated to work, and sometimes I feel like sleeping. But discipline is making the choice even when the feeling isn't there.
Discipline sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? It reminds me of school. But really, discipline is just self-love. It's choosing what you want most over what you want now.
Wow, I need to write that down. Choosing what you want most over what you want now. I want to be healthy most, but I want that donut now.
Exactly. It's a constant battle, but it gets easier the more you do it. The first time you say no to the donut, it's hard. The 50th time, it's just a normal choice. It doesn't require much energy anymore.
Because it has become a habit. We are back to habits again.
Everything leads back to habits. I read a book that said our lives are just a mass of habits, from the way we tie our shoes to the way we talk to our partners.
It makes me want to look at my life through a magnifying glass, to really look closely at everything I do. Why do I drink 3 cups of coffee before noon? Why do I check my email as soon as I wake up? Is this helping me, or is it just something I do?
It can be a bit overwhelming if you try to change everything at once. If I were a listener right now, I might feel a bit stressed thinking about all my choices.
You're right. We don't want anyone to feel stressed. This is Pod Studio, after all. We want things to be simple. So, what is one small thing someone can do today?
I think the best thing is to choose one keystone habit. A keystone is the stone at the top of an arch that holds all the other stones in place. One habit that makes everything else easier.
For me, that is exercise. If I exercise in the morning, I naturally want to eat better. I feel more confident at work. I sleep better at night. That one choice affects 5 other choices.
For me, it is making my bed. It sounds silly, but if I make my bed, I have completed the first task of the day. It gives me a small sense of pride, and it encourages me to do another task and another. And at the end of the day, I come home to a tidy room, which helps me relax.
It's amazing how a messy room can make a messy mind.
It really can. Our environment is a reflection of our choices, and our environment also shapes our future choices. If you choose to keep your kitchen clean, you are more likely to cook a healthy meal. If it's full of dirty dishes, you'll probably just order a pizza.
So we can design our future by changing our surroundings.
Yes, we call this environmental design. If you want to drink more water, put a bottle of water on your desk. If you want to play less video games, put the controller in another room in another room. Make the good choice easy and the bad choice difficult.
That is so practical. I'm going to move my phone to the kitchen tonight before I go to bed. That way, I can't check it as soon as I wake up. I will have to get out of bed and walk to the kitchen.
That's a great plan. You are making a choice now that helps your future self tomorrow morning.
I feel like we have covered a lot today, from snooze buttons to ships and captains to donuts and gym habits. It all comes down to the fact that we have power. We aren't just feathers blowing in the wind.
I love that. We have power. Even in a world that feels crazy sometimes, we can control our own small circle. We can choose to be curious, choose to be kind, and choose to keep learning.
And speaking of learning, I hope everyone listening felt like they learned something today. Not just English words, but maybe a new way to think about their day.
I hope so too. Remember, if you didn't understand every word, that is okay. Your brain is still picking up the rhythm and the sounds of the language. That is also a daily choice that is shaping your future as a fluent English speaker.
Very true. Well, Emma, I think we should wrap things up for today.
I agree. It has been a wonderful conversation. I'm going to go and have a glass of water now, a good choice for my future self.
And I'm going to go for a short walk. Thank you, everyone, for spending your time with us here at Pod Studio. It really means a lot to us that you choose to include us in your daily routine.
Yes, thank you. Keep practicing, stay mindful of those small choices, and don't be too hard on yourself if you have a pizza day every now and then.
We will be back soon with another episode to help you on your English journey. Have a beautiful day and make some great choices.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.